Considering the coffee craze currently sweeping North America, it seems hard to believe that our interest in drinking Java was once actually declining. In the 1960s, a bitter price war between major U.S. coffee brands forced them to use cheaper beans, leading to a decline in both quality and consumption. But a Seattle upstart named Starbucks turned it all around, transforming a has-been habit into a modern cultural phenomenon.
You can trace it directly back to a trip that our chairman, Howard Schultz, made over to Milan, Italy. And we had been a coffee company, and people were very passionate about the coffee. But what Howard saw was the passion around the coffee house experience. When he was in Milan, he went from one espresso bar to the next, and he saw how people knew each other. They were getting their daily coffee, but also their daily connection with other people, with the baristas, the artistry, the baristas, the folks that make the drinks were connecting with the customers. They knew them personally. And he recognized that while Starbucks was passionate about the coffee, we also had an opportunity to be equally passionate about the coffee house experience.
Thus began a unique experiment in the annals of coffee sales, an effort to not only serve the very best coffee drink, but to recreate and perhaps even improve upon the warm, welcoming coffee house atmosphere found in Europe for hundreds of years. As the company made plans for explosive growth, however, it faced a challenge: how to capture the elegance of the European coffee house culture while appealing to a broad range of Americans. The answer comes in what Starbucks calls its 4 strategic pillars in expressing the brand and the experience.
One is the coffee, which is our foundation in the sense that it gives us a credibility. 2 is some of the finest products that is associated with the coffee experience. 3 is the environment, as you said, the warm, welcoming, inspiring environment. But also, 4th, lastly but not least, is the fact that Starbucks experience also is part of being involved in the community, socially responsible corporation, and involved in the fabric of the community.
The results, by and large, have been spectacular. Starbucks now has more than 5,400 stores worldwide in 27 countries. 700 stores have opened just since October of 2001, and plans are moving forward for new stores in China, Puerto Rico, and Greece. Annual revenue in 2001 topped $2.7 billion. Growing the brand overseas can be different from Starbucks' home market.
Well, I think it differs from the sense that we're at a different development stage. Our focus in international is really more about establishing the brand, allowing consumers to discover what the brand experience is about, or what the Starbucks experience is about. Whereas North America has been here since 1971, the first store, more so in the last 10 years where we have expanded broadly. That experience is pretty well known and understood, so it's in a different stage.
Drink sales are still clearly the major driver in Starbucks' business model. Still, a major portion of its branding success comes not just from selling the coffee, but from selling the Starbucks culture.
It's critically important for us to have basically one voice, as we say, same consistency, same experience. That doesn't mean it looks the same, it's cookie cutter. What it is, it means that the essence of the brand, the experience of the brand is consistent and relevant to the local culture.
That is the biggest risk, biggest concern we have. Basically, how do you stay small as you get big? How do you stay locally relevant as you become global? And that is something, again, that we can only do by maintaining those tight connections with our partners in the stores, and they in turn will maintain those connections with their customers.
And Starbucks says that local relevance is achieved through its most important asset, its employees, or partners as they're called. The company says it spends more on training and development than it does on standard forms of marketing. And its employees receive full health benefits and stock options.
So as I look at my job, my primary responsibility is to take care of our baristas, to be of service to our baristas. And if we do a great job doing that, if we take care of them, we know they will take care of our customers, and the dialogue will take place within the stores such that new products will come along. We've got the environment set up. I think we do a good job picking sites. We get the best coffee. But at the end of the day, what makes it come alive are those baristas, those partners in the stores. And I think Starbucks has done a great job long before I showed up here at recognizing the importance of that and then fostering that and nurturing that.
Yeah, I think one of the key success to the Starbucks branding is the fact that it is more than just product. It's about an experience. And two, and what makes us different from a lot of the other coffee houses and other similar type of businesses is the fact that the essence of the Starbucks experience lives in the caring and passionate partners that we have. That's how we influence and touch the consumers. It's really people-to-people business.
Starbucks was built on word of mouth. We don't have broad national advertising campaigns. What we have are people who walk out of our stores and tell their friends. They tell their neighbors, hey, you ought to check this Starbucks thing out. And then that grows and it mushrooms.
But within this people-to-people business philosophy lies another secret to Starbucks' success. Much more than many other companies, consumers touch and influence the corporation as well. Many innovations and retail items resulted directly from suggestions made by patrons to their baristas, from customized CD music collections to sales of sandwiches, gum, and chocolate. Some stores now even offer wireless internet access in response to customer demand.
So through the baristas, we were hearing people wanted to have an iced Starbucks and a blended Starbucks, and thus Frappuccino was born. It was not some idea that came out of corporate headquarters. It came from our customers and our baristas in the store saying, wouldn't this be cool? So those are the types of things we hear. But how do we hear those? By being there locally. It's only coming from one store and then another store. If we lose that connection with our stores and our store partners, we don't hear those great ideas.
That local connection and the brand building it has created has allowed Starbucks to move into other successful venues, from coffee bean sales in grocery stores to partnerships with United Airlines, Marriott, Pepsi, Kraft, and others. They've also moved the brand successfully and extensively into Asia and Europe, though the challenges differ in each region.
What's different between Asia and Europe is that Asia, coffee consumption is not as big versus Europe. So you've got the other side of the challenge in Asia where we're trying to get people to drink more coffee through our experience. Whereas in Europe, coffee consumption is already a behavior. It's really providing them with another option of how to experience that. Now, in terms of the local culture and the coffee house culture, we believe our Starbucks experience complements that. It's a different option. It's a different way of experiencing. And as a matter of fact, in many of the markets that we have entered, like Vienna, we had a lot of local optimism from the local coffee house that we will create excitement around the coffee consumption again.
As that happens, it then creates awareness for the brand. It creates a level of familiarity with the brand that then allows us to do other things. And one obvious thing was to offer our coffee in grocery stores. Here we have, we've got the best coffee in the world. Starbucks has, without peer, the greatest coffee. You've got a place that we didn't sell any coffee, grocery stores, where the vast majority of coffee, 2/3 of all coffee in the U.S. is purchased in grocery stores. So we said, okay, this seems like a no-brainer. Best coffee, bringing it to the place where the most coffee is purchased. That was the opportunity to go into grocery stores. You could have never done it the other way around. You have to build that connection first, and that's what we did by establishing our stores first, and that really is our marketing vehicle that allows us to go into something like grocery store coffee.
Key to the success of Starbucks' expansion program was their investment in generating extensive word-of-mouth publicity campaigns that created brand awareness even before a Starbucks arrived in a new market. The brand's success in new communities depended on built-up anticipation among local consumers, who would become excited about welcoming Starbucks to their towns because of the attraction of having a trendy cafe environment for relaxation and personal enrichment.
So as our customers see it, we want to be known as their local coffee shop. We don't want to be Starbucks, this huge mega global brand. We want to be a connection they have at their local shop.
Through its many retail and service partnerships and acquisition of other well-known coffee retailers like Pasqua and Seattle Coffee Company, Starbucks has rapidly expanded their international presence. Now, the company urgently feels there's a greater need than ever to ensure the purity of the product, the brand, and the image.
I think the first and foremost is the fact that we train partners from each of the different countries, for them to truly understand what the essence of the brand is, to understand the passion that we have, the care that we have, and that it's not about care and passion only about the product. It's care and passion about the people that we deal with within our own company, outside of our company, and to the community. And that's what the brand reflects.
As with any global brand, Starbucks has become the target of political activists. Responding to charges that its bean buyers were exploiting poor growers, the company pledged to pay fair prices. They've even released a brand called Fair Trade Coffee. But the company says its strongest response to charges of rampant globalism can be found in each of its stores.
I think the key general concept that is consistent with all the major brand that's been sustainable is, one, the fact that it's an emotional bonding between the consumers and the brand. The reality is, while a company may own the brand legally, the consumer actually owns the brand in the market. So by focusing on the consumers first and understanding their world and bringing the brand to their life versus having them come to us, I think it's one of the key successes to the truly sustainable global brand.
As long as we can maintain that trust, maintain that connection, maintain those friendly people who then in turn create those local coffee houses, that's everything to the brand. Without that, we're just a big faceless logo. Well, I guess we have a face in our logo, but we are just a big corporate brand without the same connection.
First of all, we don't look at it as an American brand. We look at it as a globally relevant brand, and more importantly, it's a locally relevant brand in a global community. So while the American heritage gives us initial awareness and trial among the consumers, the fact is we quickly become a locally relevant brand and become part of the fabric of the local community.
Starbucks' meteoric rise from a tiny local retailer to an international coffee powerhouse may well be one of the great American business success stories of the past decade. It's an achievement made even more remarkable by the fact that the company did it all largely without a national ad campaign or a significant technology component in its business. By remaining a product, value, sales, and people-driven company, and staying small in terms of its close interactions with employees and customers, Starbucks is achieving a global presence and enviable success. For Pearson Education, I'm Mike Sanford, Business Now.